Go across to Dibyendu Mondal. He is joining us live from Delhi. Dibyendu, with 970 million voters, world's largest democratic exercise begins. It has set the stage for a grand battle. Poll fever grips the country, and summer season will be the voting season.
Oh, well, that's right, Abhishek. You know, yesterday the much-awaited announcement for the general election 2024 was made by the Election Commission of India. 543 Lok Sabha seats, which is the lower house of the parliament, will go to polls beginning the 19th of April. It will be a total of 75 days exercise, which began since yesterday. It's a long process, of course, because remember the length and breadth of the country, the complex topography of the country. The process is of the 75 days beginning since yesterday. As soon as the announcement for the elections were made by the Election Commission, political parties as well as the Election Commission started preparing. And in fact, the Election Commission was preparing for this election since the last 2 years. As the CEC yesterday, Mr. Rajiv Kumar, said during the press conference that it took the commission almost 2 years to prepare for this tumultuous task of holding a massive general election for India, for a complex country like India. So, of course, since yesterday, the Model Code of Conduct, which is a set guideline by the Election Commission, agreed upon by all the political parties, have kicked into, and, the Election Commission has taken over the administration and will monitor the poll process, including the campaigning, as well as the media, as well as the state and local body administrations. So, this process is something that it will be keenly looked upon. And as the Election Commission said yesterday, it is a festival of democracy. It's a festival. The Election Commission also repeatedly requested young voters to come out and vote. We have about 20 crore almost 20 crore young voters who will be voting this time around between the age of 18 to 29. Also, the first-time voters this time around is about 1.8 crores. So, this exercise, which is being considered as one of the largest in the world, for the largest democracy of the world also. So, this election will, of course, be watched by the countries across the world, because the largest democracy is going to polls, and we'll have a new government in place by the 4th of June, when the results will be announced almost 75 days from here.
Dibyendu, also all eyes on the Election Commission of India also to conduct this huge mammoth exercise. How do you read the measures in place to ensure that 970 million people eligible to vote come out and exercise their franchise?
Well, Abhishek, the Election Commission laid out the entire process that the Commission had taken into consideration over the last 2 years, how each and every booth will be managed, how the Election Commission specifically mentioned about how even if one voter is there in the upper reaches of the Himalayas, the Election Commission will reach to them to ensure that they are able to cast their vote and take part in the democracy of India. So, this mammoth task that the Election Commission will be undertaking is something that, of course, the preparations were on for a long time. Apart from this, there will also be flying squads. There will also be monitoring systems that will be put in place. The Election Commission also laid out instructions about applications, how us as normal citizens can be able to check the Election Commission's website, to check the application that the EC has launched, to know the candidate. The Election Commission also talked about how the candidates will have to, in fact, the parties will have to put out advertisements for putting up candidates that have criminal records. So, the EC is trying to ensure that the elections is free and fair. The EC also spoke about, giving all parties a level playing field, which is also the responsibility of the Election Commission to ensure that, the democracy of India is upheld to the most international standards. And of course, the EC is taking every step to ensure that the elections are held free and fair, and each political party contesting in this election is given a level playing field.
Dibyendu, last question before we leave you. We need to talk about the magnitude of the electoral process also. 1 million polling stations across the country too. How does 2024 offer the magnitude and complexities involved, the challenge ahead to conduct this Herculean task, and voting awareness campaigns are also conducted by the Election Commission of India?
Well, that's right, Abhishek. Before every election, the Election Commission holds these massive campaigns across the country to ensure that each and every voter, especially the first time and young voters, come out and cast their vote. And this is exactly what the EC has done this time around as well. As you rightly said, we have over 1 million polling stations and about 97 crore voters that will be casting their vote this time around. So it is a huge task. Remember, the EC also mentioned about how polling stations will be set up in the upper reaches of Himalayas, in the Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, and also in the down south in Kanyakumari. So of course, each polling station is very important for the EC, moving the polling machineries, the resources from the upper reaches of the Himalayas to down south to Kanyakumari is a tumultuous task. We'll also have to ensure, the EC will also have to ensure that proper security arrangements are made both for the polling candidates as well as for the voters who will be coming out to cast their vote. So movement of all the paramilitary forces, the security personnel is of course a task. Moving of the EVMs, securing them in the strong rooms after the elections are over is a responsibility of the EC, and the EC is hoping and is ensuring, in fact, that they will be able to conduct this election totally free and fair without any violence. The EC also said that they want to ensure zero violence in the election. Right. And of course, violence in a democratic process is not something that is taken about with a sound mind. So of course, the EC also wants to ensure that it gets less of a rap from the Supreme Court. We have seen many a time that Supreme Courts do take on the EC during elections. So the Election Commission also wants to ensure that the less of the cases goes to the EC. But also, remember, the EC yesterday categorically mentioned about how the district administration will be held responsible for any untoward incident that is held during the polling process. And the EC, I quote, said that would be ruthless in dealing with people who show partisan behavior during the polling process. So these are some of the concrete steps that the EC is taking to ensure that free and fair elections are held in the general elections of 2024.
Absolutely. The process will start on April 19th and it will end on June 1st. The counting will happen on June 4th. We'll leave it at that. Dibyendu, thank you for your views.